Today we delve into the profound depths of an ancient myth, a tale of Sisyphus. This narrative, steeped in antiquity, serves as the foundation for Albert Camus' philosophical masterpiece, The Myth of Sisyphus. It's a story that transcends time, reverberating through the ages, whispering timeless truths about the human condition. At the heart of this myth lies Sisyphus, a figure doomed to an eternity of futile labor, endlessly pushing a boulder up a hill only for it to roll back down. This ceaseless struggle, this unending cycle, forms the crux of Camus' existential philosophy. But why Sisyphus? Why this tale of ceaseless toil? It is because within this myth, we find a mirror to our own existence, a reflection of our daily struggles, our triumphs, our defeats. The myth of Sisyphus is not just a tale of an ancient king's punishment, it's a metaphor for the human experience. As we journey into the heart of this myth, we find reflections of our own existence. Who was Sisyphus and what led to his eternal punishment? In the heart of Greek mythology, Sisyphus was a cunning king known for his craftiness and deceit. His reputation for trickery was so profound that it even reached the ears of the gods. Sisyphus was the king of Corinth, a city-state in ancient Greece. He was known for his slyness and was often described as the cleverest of all men, but his cleverness often led him to cross paths with the gods, and not in a good way. Once, he tricked Thanatos, the embodiment of death itself, by chaining him up, thereby halting the cycle of life and death. This audacious act infuriated the gods, but Sisyphus didn't stop there. Even after his death, he tricked Persephone, the queen of the underworld, into allowing him to return to the land of the living. He argued that his wife hadn't given him a proper burial, and Persephone, touched by his plea, allowed him to return to set things right. But instead, Sisyphus refused to go back, enjoying his renewed life. His trickery and defiance of the gods could only go unnoticed for so long. When the gods finally caught up with him, he was handed a punishment by Zeus himself. Sisyphus was condemned to an eternity of futile labor in the underworld. His task was to roll a massive boulder up a steep hill, but just as he was about to reach the top, the weight of the stone would always overcome his strength, and it would roll back down to the bottom. Sisyphus would then have to start over, repeating this pointless task forever. In essence, Sisyphus was trapped in a never-ending cycle of exertion and disappointment, forever burdened with a task that could never be completed. His story is a vivid portrayal of futility and the human condition of ceaseless striving. And so, Sisyphus was condemned to a life of endless toil. In the struggle of Sisyphus, we find a mirror to our own. Each day, like Sisyphus, we wake up and face the same tasks, the same responsibilities, the same challenges. We find ourselves pushing our own metaphorical boulders up the hill only to see them roll back down again. We fight, we strive, we struggle. And yet, the world remains indifferent to our efforts. It's not just Sisyphus who lives this cyclical existence. The literature is rich with characters who echo the same sentiment. Consider Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, where the protagonists wait in vain for someone who will never come. They fill their time with meaningless activities, trying to make sense of their existence, much like Sisyphus and his boulder. Or take a look at Franz Kafka's The Trial, where the protagonist is embroiled in a complex and incomprehensible legal system. He spends his life in a futile attempt to understand and navigate it, echoing Sisyphus's eternal struggle. Even in popular culture, we see this theme represented. The classic film Groundhog Day depicts a man forced to live the same day over and over again, grappling with the monotony and absurdity of existence, much like our Greek hero. But what does this all mean? What is the point of Sisyphus's struggle? Or ours? Albert Camus, the philosopher who brought Sisyphus back into the modern consciousness, argues that the struggle itself is what gives life meaning. It is in the fight, in the effort, in the pushing of the boulder that we find purpose. Camus famously wrote, "The struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a man's heart." One must imagine Sisyphus happy. And so, perhaps, we too can find happiness, not in the achievement of the goal, but in the journey towards it. So next time you find yourself pushing your own boulder up the hill, remember Sisyphus. Remember his struggle, his effort, his defiance. Because, just as Sisyphus, we too find ourselves in an eternal cycle of effort and futility. But what does Sisyphus's plight tell us about life and our existence, one may ask? Well, it serves as a metaphor for the human condition, the absurdity of life, and the tenets of existentialism. The human condition, as depicted in the myth of Sisyphus, is one of struggle and repetition. It's an endless cycle of efforts that may seem futile. Like Sisyphus, we are all pushing our own boulders, whether it be our jobs, our relationships, or our personal battles. The struggle itself becomes the meaning, with each push of the boulder echoing the essence of our existence. The absurd, a key theme in Camus' philosophy, is also vividly illustrated in Sisyphus's tale. The absurd refers to the conflict between our desire for significance and the indifferent universe that refuses to grant it. Sisyphus's endless task, devoid of purpose or end, highlights this absurdity. He is trapped in a perpetual cycle, a victim of the universe's indifference. Yet he persists, embodying the human spirit's defiance in the face of the absurd. And then there's existentialism. Sisyphus's story is a powerful exploration of existential thought. Existentialism posits that life is inherently meaningless and it's up to the individual to create their own purpose. Sisyphus, condemned to his eternal task, finds meaning in his struggle. He embraces his fate, finding joy in the act itself, not the end goal. This mirrors the existential belief that we must create our own purpose in a purposeless world. This is the philosophy of Sisyphus, a philosophy of struggle, defiance, and resilience. It's a philosophy that speaks to the human condition, the absurdity of life, and the existential quest for meaning. It's a philosophy that isn't just about a mythological figure, but about us, about our lives, about the human experience. In Sisyphus's despair, we find a strange comfort, a testament to human resilience. This is the enduring message of Sisyphus's tale, a reminder that even in the face of absurdity and struggle, there is dignity, there is meaning, and there is the power of human resilience. Centuries have passed since the tale of Sisyphus was first told, yet its echoes linger. The story of Sisyphus, forever pushing his boulder up a hill, only to see it roll back down, is more than a simple myth. It's a metaphor for the human condition. In our modern world, we are all Sisyphus, toiling away at our own rocks. For some, it's the relentless pursuit of career advancement or financial success. For others, it's the struggle to maintain relationships or keep up with societal expectations. We are forever pushing our boulders up the hill, only to watch them roll back down. The Myth of Sisyphus, by Albert Camus, resonates with us today because it reflects the reality of our daily grind. The futility Sisyphus experienced is not far removed from the feeling we get when our efforts seem in vain. Yet, just like Sisyphus, we pick ourselves up and start the climb again. The myth also reminds us of the inherent absurdity of life. We strive for meaning and purpose, yet we are faced with a world that often seems indifferent to our struggles. But Camus offers us a way to find happiness in this absurdity. He suggests that we should embrace our struggle, our toil, our Sisyphean task, because in that struggle we find our purpose. The relevance of Sisyphus today is that his tale encourages us to find joy and fulfillment in our daily task, no matter how mundane or repetitive. It calls on us to embrace the process, the journey, rather than obsessing over the destination, to find contentment in the act of doing rather than the end result. In the myth of Sisyphus, we find a timeless tale of human struggle and resilience, a story that, even after centuries, continues to inspire and challenge us. It's a reminder that we are all Sisyphus, and that our boulders, no matter how heavy, are not burdens, but opportunities for growth and self-discovery. As we draw to a close, we find ourselves reflecting on the tale of Sisyphus. This myth, as presented by Albert Camus, is not merely a tale of ancient Greece, but a mirror held up to our own lives. Each of us, in our own way, is Sisyphus. We push our individual boulders up the hill, only to see them roll back down again. Yet, it is in this seemingly futile struggle that we find meaning. We find purpose. Camus invites us to consider that perhaps the struggle itself is enough to fill a man's heart. Each day we wake up, face our challenges, and strive. But it's not the achievement of the goal that matters as much as the journey. It's about the toil, the sweat, the determination. It's about embracing the absurdity of life and finding joy in the process. In the end, we are all Sisyphus, pushing our boulder, finding meaning in our struggle. Thank you for watching. Did you enjoy the video? Please subscribe to our channel, like, and share.